Good evening, Baruchim Abayim Rabotai. Welcome to another edition of our Thursday night's class. Tonight's class is for Refuah Shlema Nuri Rabbi Shem Zalman Mechana Liva Hashem Shetzem Refuah Shlema and all his parents to Sonei Yisrael V'Yimera. Amen ve'Amen. It's very rare that Rabbi Shlema asks for anything. Of all the years that I've known him, we're talking about at least 23 years. I don't think he ever asked me for a thing. Not even a cup of coffee. And today he asked his son to call me to ask for a favor. But of course, what's the favor? Anything. So he said that, I don't know based on what, so I can't tell you what the source is, but besides for his cancer and other things, should go on Sonei Yisrael, his kidneys started failing, Hashem Yachim. And he said, it says in the Sfarim HaKadoshim, he didn't say the source, but so I can't quote the source unfortunately, that if somebody has a problem with his kidneys, then they should have people read for their Refuah Shlema, Yoshev, the chapter of Tehillim, Yoshev B'Seter Elyon, but to start from the pasuk before, the previous chapter, V'Yinoam. And in the pasuk, Be'evrato Yasech Lach, V'tachat Knafav Techesed, Tzilah V'Socher Amito, to have kavana that the person should have a Refuah Shlema. And he said, for kidney problems it works, so Badukum Nuseh. It was tested and he saw it effective. So Stam, you should never know people that are sick, but you just learned the trick. If you ever do know somebody who has any issues, but he asked me to say it in the shir and to ask people, so whoever had a tovat anah from him, directly or indirectly in life, that they should take a minute of their life to say a perek Tehillim for his Refuah Shlema. In this case, specifically this perek, is definitely a good thing. Fine. Now we want to talk about Pesach season. So we're going to talk about Pesach a little bit. So let's start. Shulchan Aruch Orach Chaim Taf Tet, the first sif. Maran writes, Shoalim B'ilchot HaPesach Kodem LaPesach 30 Yom. We begin studying Ilchot Pesach before Pesach, 30 days. That's why there's Minhag Yisrael Torah, to buy the Sudat Purim, we take out the Shulchan Aruch and we begin learning Ilchot Pesach. That was a Minhag Yisrael by all the tzaddikim, all the generations. This is based on the Yerushalmi, and there's an argument in the Rishonim already, and later on in the Achronim, if this is by every holiday that you study its laws 30 days prior, or only Passover. The simple understanding is it's only Passover, Shehilchotav Merubim, because there's so many complicated halachot, but there were other poskim that held even by others. That's what Maran writes. Comes the Rama and writes like this: Uminhag, there's a custom, liknot chitim, to buy wheat, lechalkan la'aniim, to give them out to the poor people, etzorech haPesach, that they should have to make matzot for Pesach. Whereas we know in our language today, it's called kimcha de pischa, the money that we give out to the poor for Pesach. Chafetz Chaim brings down in Shara Tziyun in the name of the Tshuvat Beit David in Orach Chaim Siman Lamed Vav, but he says he doesn't understand. Why does the Rama write minhag? It's a custom. It's not a custom, it's a din of the Gemara. It's brought down in the Gemara. In the Yerushalmi, Abbas, Parag Aleph Halacha Vav. So why is it, it's not minhag, it's a chiyuv, it's a regular 30 Yom Kodem HaChag. The Maran wrote, we learn. Why? Based on the Yerushalmi. And that he wrote as a halacha. He didn't write minhag to learn 30 days before. When it came to Ma'ot Chitin, the Rama wrote, it's a minhag to give Ma'ot Chitin. Why is this one a minhag and this one not? This is what he wrote. There's many answers in the poskim about this, but tonight I wanted to tell you a very sharp answer that's brought down from a very famous rabbi that passed away a little while ago, Hagon HaTzadik of Nosson Geshtetner Zechet Tzadik V'Kadosh Zevachas Ch'Tagen Aleinu, that had the schut to write with many chidushei Torah back and forth. So he used to say in his darash on Shabbat HaGadol that he thinks the reason is like this. He says, we live in a society that people keep customs a lot more than they keep halakha. This is not my custom, this is my custom. This is in our community we do this, in our community we do that. There's no way in Shulchan Aruch that it says that at the end of every month when a father dies, the first year you make a party in some hall and have people pay when they come in. But in the Buchaim community they do that. Why? Because that's their custom. But the same guys that have this custom, they drive on Shabbat. So what? Get your act together. Which one is it? This is an Isur D'Oraita, Mechaleh Mot Yumad. That's the only reason why your father might have died in the first place, by the way. And this is Minhag Shtut. People would come, not modest, eat without blessings, men and women hugging and kissing each other. There's no benefit in it. It's Yiridat Neshama. So, but the custom everybody keeps. What it says in Shulchan Aruch, that we don't keep. It's backwards. It's insane. But that's the way the world is. That's the way the world is. Somebody would say he's giving a shiur on Chod Shabbat. So if he's lucky, he'll have 4 people. But if he's saying he's giving a shiur about Ayin Hara, sold out in advance, 3 weeks in advance. Why? Because that's the world, right? That's the Yitzhara does that. So it confuses people to make people sugar. So Nosson Gestetner said the Ramah was worried that the poor people are not going to have food for Pesach. So what do? He wrote a minhag, it's a custom to give them money for Pesach. Like this, that for sure everybody's going to give. Religious, non-religious, this, that. Everybody's going to do something for the poor people for Pesach. That's why he turned it into a custom. That's what he wrote once. Powerful pshat. Of course he meant it in a humoristic way, but unfortunately there's a lot of truth to it. No. But in reality, what's going on over here? Also, the poskim ask, and I'm not going to quote all the svarim from the poskim because I'm b'mchilat kvodam, even though they were prior, I'm not giving their answers. I want to use a mahalach that is written in a Haggadah of Pesach that came out 2 years ago, wonderful, by Adar and Toisik Shlit, Hashem should give him a long life. A Jew that had a lot of Hakarat HaTov too, I learned a ton of Torah from him. That it's called Mikarvan LaTorah, that's the name of the Sefer. Bring him close to the Torah. So over there, he asks a question that was already written many years before, that the Ramah says, minhag, and it's a custom to give Ma'ut Chitim. Kimcha de Pesach. Means it's a connection. One of the 15 ways of explaining is to attach. So that means he's connecting it to what Maran said. Maran said 30 days before Pesach, you learn the halachot. This has nothing to do with the halachot. It's an important mitzvah that I even wrote about it in all my groups. But that's it. What's the connection between Ma'ot Chitim, Kimcha de Pesach, and learning the Ilchot Pesach 30 days before? What's the connection? So we have to understand. And if there is such a custom, what's the reason also of the custom? It's like, you have to give all year. What's the special thing? Pesach. We have to understand this whole idea. What's this idea? So I want to share with you a story that I read in this Sefer Kavan Torah. I'm shocked, it's probably famous, but I never knew it. And you know I say a lot of stories every week. Some that happened to me, some that I read, some that I heard from Gedolei Yisrael, some I saw by Gedolei Yisrael. Honestly, I put this in the top 3 ever. Yeah, give me a little sneak preview so you should focus. It's wild. I don't know how I did it. I'm sure that people know it because it was out Dolado in America, Moshe Feinstein, but still, I don't know. I didn't know it. When it was 7 o'clock in the evening when I read this in the Sefer upstairs, and I was learning over here in the shul on the 3rd floor. I took out the phone, even though it was 2 in the morning. I know he's up Thursday night. To call Baron Toysik, I didn't get through to him to say thank you. That through his Sefer I got this story. Like that's how blown away I was. I couldn't. So many life lessons in one thing. Everybody heard of Moshe Feinstein. It's Amalada Atra of America, the man who the best hesped that was said about it was Satmar Rebbe said about it. B'chol beiti ne'emanu. He was 100% pure in everything to do with Hashem. And Moshe, there's no way to understand. I had the schut to be a roommate with somebody who used to take care of Moshe Feinstein. So that's how I know a little bit of stories. That's why I was shocked I didn't know this one. Yeah, out of all the stories he told me, this should have been the first. But is that Madah and Torah? I'm not here to say Hesped on Moshe now, but there's no way to explain. His brilliance, he had a brain that makes no sense. After World War II, Moshe was matir over 7,000 agunot. An aguna is a woman who should never know who was married, and her husband is gone. We don't know where he is, meaning we think he died, but we don't know for sure. We don't have evidence. And there's a lot of criteria in halacha to allow her to get remarried, because maybe she's an eshetish, maybe she's married al pi halacha, her husband's still alive somewhere in the world. So But Moshe was mad over 7,000 agunot after World War II, and now one husband never came back. Meaning, every halacha in Shamayim came with a Ruach HaKodesh, with Siyat Dishmaya, stamp of approval that you learned and did your best, and we're not going to let you make a mistake in halacha. Unreal. Who's talking about Moshe? There's a gentleman who once said over that he went into Moshe when he was a young college student, and then he was learning Gittin. When they asked Moshe a halacha question in Gittin, and Moshe told him the answer. And he argued with Moshe. He told Moshe, no, he has proofs otherwise, and he started arguing with him. So Moshe was a very patient person, especially in learning. But when he saw a guy wasn't looking for the truth, he was just looking to justify his stupidity, so that's when he used to lose his patience. Not because he lost his patience, because at that point it's a waste of time. So he realized that quickly on this guy. And the guy said it himself, about himself. And Moshe looked him straight in the face, and he told him, you look like a very special young man. How many times did you finish Shas? He said, nah, I'm working on it. Soon I'm going to finish the first time. He said, what about Shulchan Aruch? He said, Arachaim he finished. That's a lot, by the way. Arachaim he finished. Today most people that are called rabbis never learned Arachaim once. I say that with full responsibility. With a lot of pain. Arachaim he finished. He said, what about Yerushalmi? He said he never learned Yerushalmi. So Moshe said, listen to me, my friend. I finished Shas already 450 times. I finished Shulchan Aruch 400 times. I finished Yerushalmi Biyun over 100 times. Trust me, I know the halacha. It's fine, it's okay. And Moshe didn't even reach 100 years old. So let's say he started learning Gemara at 5 years old, right? If you want to really exaggerate. Maybe it was true about Moshe, he was a genius, I don't know. So that means that Moshe used to finish Shas at least 3 to 4 times a year on a slow year. Because in his younger years, I'm sure it took longer. In America, we make a Siyum HaShas, which I'm not downplaying, it's a big, beautiful thing. They have to take a stadium. They bring 100,000 people and spend millions and millions of dollars that could have supported poor people that would have learned Shas. And that's what a bigger, but they do it for a good reason, because, you know, we need attention, so it gives attention and encourages people to learn. At least Masechet Brachot, many people know, because after the last Siyum HaShas, so many people were inspired and said they're going to start learning Daf Yomi. Then comes Masechet Shabbat, there's a saying in Chazal, Ma Shabbat Ma Melucha. Once Masechet Shabbat comes, we go to sleep already, it's done. But at least, Brachot is also important, right? Extremely important. And Moshe, on an average Monday morning, could have made a Siyum HaShas, nobody would know. It's different musagim, different ideas than anything we know today. No. Used to learn non-stop. There's no way to explain. There's no way to explain. But Moshe was extremely in tune to the needs of the Jewish nation, and therefore he allowed himself to be part of what was called the Moetzet B'lei Torah. For a while, he didn't allow it to be officially; it was unofficially, but he was involved. And the Gedolei Yisrael used to decide what the way it should be in Am Yisrael. Rav Yaakov Yagen, Rav Moshe, they were the three main pillars in America at the same time, and they would get together in different occasions with other rabbis as well. I'm not Chas Shalom purposely eliminating any other name, but those are the three that I think everybody here knows. And they would discuss things, decisions, things that had to do with Am Yisrael at large. What has to be decided, what should be done, which way, how. Many decisions are there. And once there was an emergency meeting that had to do with a certain subject, and Adar and Rav Moshe and Rav Yaakov were all there. And Rav Moshe never wasted time, so he only went if it was really urgent. And this was a real urgent matter, and he went. When he was in the middle of the meeting, he said his opinion. Normally he would wait, they would discuss, he would wait. He looked at the other rabbis there, and he said he asks forgiveness, but he can't stay, he has to leave for something very important, and they should forgive him. And if they need to continue the discussion, then they should let him know, and tomorrow I'll go to them, or whatever. They'll figure out what to do. Fine. It was weird, because Moshe never did that before. But if he did it, he did it. He said he has to leave. He left. Went down. He had a person who used to drive him, a young boy. And he went into the car. This boy used to drove Moshe already for a couple of years before that. And he knew that Moshe never left the Moetzet middle. The Dolim was sitting there. Even if he wasn't needed, with out of respect for the others at least, or whatever, he never left. So he said, Rabbi, where are we going? What happened? He got scared. Maybe something's wrong. He wasn't feeling well. He was an elderly man already. So Moshe said he has to go to a wedding. Now that's not a big chiddush. Moshe went to many weddings. People don't know that, but he used to go a lot of times. Not for long, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever. He would go in and out because he felt it's a mitzvah, make him happy. So if it was close to that, there was certain criteria, but he used to go. But to leave there, to go, you can go to the wedding in 2 hours from now, yeah? Like, it doesn't say, there's no Shulchan Aruch what time you have to show up to the wedding. So I like the weddings today. They give you many options. Shmorgasbord, chuppah, simchat chatan v'kala, this, I love it. Pick which time works for you. That's the way it should be. Don't impose on me when they... No. So he figured maybe it's a family member. Family member has to go for the chuppah. Or maybe he's Mesadeh Kiddushin tonight. But even with that, he didn't understand. So the boy had guts. He's young, you know. Turned to Moshe and he said, what wedding? You were in the middle of yeshiva in the Moitzah. What wedding is so important now? So he said, somebody. So he said, Rebbe, you're going to be Mesadeh Kiddushin tonight? He said, no. He said, you're going to be by the chuppah? He said, no, I'm purposely coming right after the chuppah. And Moshe, unless he felt that he needed to be Mesadeh Kiddushin because it was a chizuk for the chatan and kala, I learned that from him. He purposely missed chuppot. Because if he comes to the chuppah, then they give you a blessing or an honor or this, that. Rabbis shouldn't need attention. And give it to those who need attention. So you come after and you don't put the family in an uncomfortable situation. If you're there, they have to give you something. But maybe some uncle is going to get insulted, so what's the mitzvah? So the smart way is just simply don't show up, come after the chuppah and problem solved. It's a great thing, unbelievable thing. Until the day that Be'ez Hashem, the uncles will understand that the Lei Yisrael should come first. But until that day, Shem Zalman Zitzal Marashiva, I saw many times. He would come to a hall, he would hear the chuppah didn't start yet, he would wait in the car, when he heard the chuppah was over, then he went in. Many, many times. Even though there's a mitzvah to be by chuppah, could be, but even with that, he didn't want to cause an uncomfortable situation. You know? He didn't want to make it. So he's waiting until he's going after the chuppah. So then he said, is it a family member? So Moshe told him, you should know by now, it's not a family member. So he said, how should I know it's not a family member? So he said, because if it was a family member, then my wife's also related. So he would go home first to pick up my wife. And if I'm going and my wife's not going, so obviously he's not a family member. Okay? So the boy was already told somebody, no chuppah, not a family member. So now he was even more curious. So he tried to dig. At a certain point, Moshe pretty much told him, stop with your questions, and that's it. So now, even though normally when he took on Moshe, he would only walk him to the door and then wait for him, he decided he's parking the car, he's going inside, he has to figure out what Moshe Feinstein doing by this wedding. Whose wedding is this and why? He has to figure it out. And by the way, that alone I think is a lesson in the story. If there's an Adam Gadol that does something, you should want to know why. Why did he do it this way? Why didn't I think of doing it that way? Well, Chazal teach us, even what's considered the casual conversation of Talmidei Chachamim, you can learn tilei halachot. There's so much to learn from. So if Moshe is doing something out of the ordinary, you can learn from it. So he went inside. Takes Moshe inside. And Moshe walks in, and people see Moshe and they don't understand what he's doing by the wedding. Of course, they're extremely honored, but so the Chatan and Kala were in the Yichud rooms right after the Chuppah. But the Chatan's father went to Moshe and gave him a hand and that. He said, Rebbe, how did I get this chus? How did I get the honor to come? So Moshe told him, of course, if you would have invited me, maybe I would have came, but you didn't invite me. But I'll tell you the truth, I'm very, very close to the Kala's family. And therefore, and I'm also related to the Kala. So he said, I'm also related to the Kala. And therefore I came because of that. And you should know that your son got an amazing girl. She's a big tzadekis, she has good midas, and that. Gave a whole bunch of compliments. And you're a lucky man to have such a daughter-in-law. Everybody was used to it. Moshe walked in, said Mazel Tov, and left. So the father didn't even think of offering him to sit down because Moshe doesn't have time, he leaves. And now Moshe turns to him and says, but I didn't say that I'm coming. Is there a seat that I could sit? Imagine the Gdol HaTorah, is there a seat? Sit anyway, sit in the Chatan, who cares? The Adar is here now. So the father said, of course you could sit there. He takes him up front, he seats him. Now everybody's even more shocked. Now Moshe wasn't a big bracha person. He gave brachas to anybody who asked, because he said, Chazal clearly say it's a mitzvah to give a bracha. We'll talk about that maybe if we have time. But in general, he didn't go kissing his hand. It wasn't his style. He was learning, And he sat there up front, and people took advantage. They started coming, kissing his hand, brachas, and one by one, he's giving each guy a bracha. And every person that comes for a blessing, he's telling them how lucky they are to be by a wedding of such an amazing couple. This lady's a celeb now. Moshe Feinstein's there giving plugs and that. The whole thing was a pellet. The Chatan comes in with the kala after the yichudum, and Moshe goes to the dancing floor. I don't know if Moshe danced by his own grandchildren, by the way. I'm not sure. I have to ask his kids. They're still alive. I should give him a long life. He was an old man. He was frail. He was physically, I don't know if it was, but went in. Father of the boy danced with his son. Right afterwards, Moshe danced with him. After he danced with him, he sat him down, sat near him, and started telling him what an amazing wife he has. And now he's related to her, and how proud he is to be by the wedding, and this and that. The whole thing. Give you a hesped. When he's done that, he gets up, he turns to the driver, and he tells him, find the young girl that's under 9 years old. He found the young girl running around, and Moshe called the girl over and told her, can I trouble you to do me a favor? He didn't talk to the girl's stam, so that's why he asked for a girl under 9. And he said, sure. He said, go into the ladies section and ask the kala to come to the mechitza. Now already, this is already big. That for sure he never did in his life. Call the kala to the mechitza. Moshe gives her a warm bracha, and he purposely speaks loud that everybody around should hear. And he tells her a whole bunch of compliments also. And the kala is crying and emotional, and then he tells her that he got to sit near the chatan, like dancing when he said, nah, makes a good impression, he's very happy to see, and the family is so nice, and everybody's so nice, and whatever. And he's so thankful that she thought of inviting him to her wedding. And Moshe is telling her, thank you very much. The whole story is a peddler, right? But it gets better. It gets better. They go into the car. He leaves. They go into the car. They go into the car, the driver turns to Moshe and says, Rabbi, I'm on strike. So what do you mean? He says, you want to go home? I want to know what happened there. That's it. It was before Uber. There was no, okay, I'll take a lift. It didn't work like that. He says, I need to know. He says, I know it's wrong. I know you're trying to avoid telling me. But this is not normal. I got to know what's going on. Now Moshe looked at him and told him, I'll tell you the truth. Before the wedding, I didn't want to say anything, because I was scared that maybe he would say something to somebody else, whatever. But now that I was already there, I can tell you. Let me tell you exactly what's going on. He says, you want to know how I know this girl? How long I know this girl? 48 hours. 48 hours, that's how long I know her. Okay? So now it's getting weird. He says, so what's going on? He says, 2 days ago, my wife was in the kitchen. There was a knock on the door. She opened the door. A girl was standing by the door. She came into the kitchen and talked to my wife. She tells her Moshe, and she tells his wife that she's getting married in 2 days and she wants to get a blessing from Moshe. Could she get a bracha from Moshe? And the wife saw Kala 2 days getting married, of course. So even though Moshe was learning, she stopped him and she said, sorry, but she's getting married in 2 days. Could you give her a bracha? And this is the part that, I'll just give you the source because we're not going to have time to go through it all. Moshe didn't bother him to do that, and he happily gave. Because if you look in Igot Moshe in the volume that wasn't written by Moshe himself, but whatever, at least, hopefully it's trustworthy, it's the 8th volume of Igot Moshe, and Yorei Dalet Siman Nun Aleph. So over there, Moshe brings down a whole tshuva that there's a chiyuv, it's a halacha obligation for a person to pray for his friend and to constantly bless his friends. So if it's for a friend, somebody who comes to you and asks you openly for a blessing, you have to give it to him. That's what Moshe the halacha. And Moshe writes over there, by the way, the Gemara says about Kuftet Zayin Amud Aleph, that somebody who has a sick person b'toch beito, we should never know, meaning one of his family members is not well, it doesn't say go to a doctor. You know what it says? Yelech etzel chacham, you should go to a Talmid Chacham, yivakesh alav rachamim. Disclaimer, a Baba doesn't mean he's a Talmid Chacham. Yelech etzel chacham, go to Talmid Chacham, and he should ask the Talmid Chacham to pray for him. And the Gemara learns it out from a pasuk. The Chacham sends away the Malach HaMavet. That's the solution for a sick person. Comes to the Mukei Yosef, one of the Rishonim over there, and the Gemara writes that the minhag, the custom in Tzarfat in France, that's where he was acquainted with their customs, is kol mi sheyesh chol ucholeh, anybody who had a sick person, goes to Pnei Harav, he goes to the rabbi of the community, the Talmid Chacham of the community, and in the yeshiva, in the place that he learns, meaning it's a place of Talmidei Chachamim, that he should bless him. Same yeshiva after. This is brought down in the Rishonim. The halacha, unbelievable thing. So Rav Moshe over there writes, and then Rav Moshe writes, and even though I don't consider myself a Talmid Chacham, and I'm not worthy to give blessings, but being that the person who's coming to me believes that I'm a Talmid Chacham and that my blessing is worth something, so midin chesed for him, I give him the bracha, and midin emuna pshuta that he has that I am a Talmid Chacham, the bracha works. That was Rav Moshe's humbleness. A man learned Shas 450 times at least that he was willing to admit to, probably much more. And Shulchan Aruch 400 times is saying, even though I'm not a Talmid Chacham, what does it mean to be in it? It's so befitting the name Moshe. Moshe Rabbeinu, it says, was the Anav Mikol Adam, the most humble person. Moshe Feinstein went in those ways. Most humble rabbi ever. That's unreal. Unreal. Nope. So, the girl came in together with the Rebbetzin. And Moshe said, Mazel Tov, he gave her a warm bracha, and with that he went back to his learning because he thought it's over, right? She wanted a bracha, she got her bracha. A couple of minutes later, the Rebbetzin comes back and says she's bringing the Kala back in. And Moshe says, why? He says, she needs to talk to you, it's important. Okay. Kala comes back in and she bursts out crying. And while she's crying, Moshe tries to calm her down. Says, what's wrong? Talk to me. Yeah? So she says that I'm Israeli. I'm not American. My family lives in Israel. I live in Israel, everything. But my parents are extremely, extremely poor. And in Israel, for a frum girl that's poor to be able to get married to a normal Talmid Chacham is almost impossible, unfortunately, until today. Because the first question they ask before they ask if the girl's handicapped or not is how much support is there. Yeah. Listen, I'm not here to discuss if that's right or wrong, but those are the facts. And Sidur Maleh, there's all different titles for it. How much a boy is worth. Like if you're in Chevron Yeshiva, then you're worth 2 apartments in Jerusalem. It's like almost $1 million. One to live in and one to rent out the Yeshiva income. If you're in Ponovich, so it depends if you're in the Mechablim or in the Soinim. And one of them you're worth like 600,000, the other one you're worth like 450. It's like, it's a marketplace, you know, there's different price tags for each one. And if you're in each yeshiva, it's something else, you know. In Israel, it's very easy to convince boys to learn in good yeshivas and to learn good. You tell a guy, you're going to go work now in a pizza shop. You know, you'll work 20 years, what are you going to make? 30 shekel an hour times 8 hours, 40-hour week, times 20 years. You're not going to get close to what you're going to make by sitting and learning seriously for 3 years in yeshiva. Those are done. And they get convinced, and they go learn, but they learn at least. So that's the way it works. And again, I'm not saying right, wrong, that's not katonti. I'm not, just delay sale, they decide these things. I don't get involved. But said she couldn't get married. And one day, Shatchan came to her father and told her like this, I have a shidduch for your daughter. Top boy, he's American. But there's a catch. His family's very rich. And they want to have the wedding, normally the wedding's where the girl lives. They want to have the wedding in America, not in Israel. If you agree to that, they're willing to pay for the entire wedding A to Z. They're willing to do everything and support the kids forever. They're rich, they have no problem. But that they have this one craze, the wedding has to be in New York no matter what. The father asked the girl, were you willing to go out in America? And she went out. The boy was really yeshiva boy for me. Yeshiva, good boy. And I don't know what language they spoke between them, but I guess a little of this, a little of that. It worked somehow. and they got engaged. Shah Tova. Turns out that the father of the groom was a rich man and a Talmid Chacham, a nice person. He thought of everything. He paid for the wedding, and he got them a beautiful apartment in the U.S., and this and that. He did everything, the best of the best of the best of the best. One thing he didn't think of, they're a poor family. They don't have money to come to America. And they didn't have money to come to America. So what ended up happening was the father borrowed money, scrapped together money, to send his daughter to her chuppah. And she's there standing by Moshe crying and saying, I'm alone. And I'm getting married in 2 nights and nobody's going to be by my wedding. No friends, no family, I don't know anybody. And then she takes out an invitation and she says, maybe you could come to my wedding. At least one person will come because I invited them. And Moshe looked at her and said, I'm going to come. But if I come, what do you want me to tell the people? What should I say? Why am I here? I don't want to say I am king because you know nobody, right? It's going to be terrible. It's going to be a disaster. So I want to say what you want me to say. So what do you want me to say? So she tells her, Moshe, I want you to say that you're my relative. You're related to me. So I should feel it. So Moshe looked at this girl and told her, that I can't do. Because a lie. Can't, not let a lie. But this girl was a Talmidah Chachama. And she turned to Moshe and she said that it says clearly in Chazal and Eicha that we learned this in Midrash Rabbah and Eicha, right? Towards the beginning, Aleph Dalet. Well, it says over there that there's such a thing as a Jew who doesn't have a relative. There's no such thing. We learned this based on the Gemara, so Bava Kama, and so on. And then there's halacha implications to it, by the way. And she says, if that's what Chazal say about those situations, which we're not going into now, then Kalachomimi, we're not in the times of the Churban Habayit. So of course we're related, so it's not a lie. It's a Bavli, it's a Medrash and Eicha. It's not, we're related. Now Moshe smiled and he says, you're a good girl, you're a smart girl, you're right, we're related. And right then and there he was posek halacha for himself, that he's allowed to go to the wedding and say that he's related. And that's why he came. And that's why he walked into the hall. And he came to the father of the Chatan and he presented himself as a relative based on the girl's request. The boy wasn't done. He tells her, Moshe, but I don't understand something else. Why'd you stay? He said, I'll tell you why I stayed. Because I'm scared that the in-laws, like the boy's parents, are going to start thinking that the girl is like, maybe it was a mistake to take her, because her own parents couldn't come to her wedding. It's going to belittle her in their eyes. So I purposely went and sat up front and did what I never did in my life and let everybody kiss my hand and gave blessings and publicize what a great girl she is. So there'll never be a second that they'll be able to think that she's second class. So this I don't do for my own grandchildren. And they won't think she doesn't have a relative. The only thing they're ever going to associate is Moshe Feinstein's a relative. And then she'll have a better life. They'll treat her better with more dignity and respect as a result of it. The boy is still not done asking his questions. Poor Moshe can't get home. He has to answer a questionnaire. He says, Rabbi, okay, that makes sense. And that's probably the reason why you stayed to dance with the Chatan and that. He says, yeah, you're right. He said, but I have another question. Why do you call it Kalat Mechitza? That's against your principles. So what's the answer? That you wanted to know that you were there? Or that so she would find out. I'm sure people were talking. And if not, her husband would tell her 2 hours later. And there Moshe looked at him and told him he wants to teach him a lesson in life. And over here I want to give you a little bit of a key to unlock all the blessings of the world. To literally be a game changer in your whole life. The Midrash says in Bereshit Rabbah Samach Bet Bet that the sachar, the reward that's waiting for the tzaddikim in Gan Eden, HaKadosh Baruch Hu already shows them their reward in Gan Eden in Olam Hazeh, in this world. In advance, He shows them. The Midrash has all different stories about it. And after they pass away, they go to what they already saw. That's what the Midrash says. Midrash lends it out from a pasuk. from many psukim actually. There's all different explanations and reasons in this midrash. Why? Why? Why does Hashem do that? Moshe Rabbeinu, Yeshua ben Nun, both of them, HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed them their place in Gan Eden before they died. In Moshe's case, he was dying right after. Anyway, he's dying. If you do it when you're 3 years old, Mela, but by default you can't, because the guy's not a tzaddik yet. When the guy's 99 and he's going to die in an hour away, he's on his deathbed already. So now you're going to show him his place in Gan Eden? What's the idea behind it? So Moshe said a huge chidush. Says the Gemara says in Bachot Chavchet a little bit a story, but I'm going to skip the story part. I'm just going to say the punchline of the story. That one of the rabbis went to visit another rabbi, and he saw he looked very stressed, and he said, "What?" He says, "I feel that I'm sick and I'm dying soon. I don't know where I'm going to go, if to Gan Eden or somewhere else around me." So that means even the bigger a tzaddik is, the more he worries, what's his future going to be? And Hashem doesn't want people to worry. So Hashem takes a tzaddik way before he passes away and shows him his place in Gan Eden, so he shouldn't worry. He should be calm. Meaning it's not only the chesed Hashem that he's putting somebody in Gan Eden, but let's show him earlier that he shouldn't have a worry along the way. Comes out Moshe and turns to this boy. And he says to him like this, his driver. Says, "My son, listen to me. When I was by the wedding, I didn't go to the chuppah because of my reasons for not going. So what was this girl thinking? Is Rav Moshe going to come? Not. She's under pressure. So it's true at the end of the night she would have found out that I was there, and I'm sure she's going to hear about the compliments I gave her, and she'll be on cloud 9. But why make a Jewish girl wait an extra 2 hours to feel good? Why not help her feel good right now?" And that's why I broke all my principles and rules and called it to the mechitza, and so she should see I was there. And then I stuck to my promise. Comes Rabbi Toysig and says an unbelievable chidush. Maran says in Shulchan Aruch, 30 yom kodem achag, dorshim v'shoalim milchot achag. 30 days before Yom Tov, you start learning Ilchot Pesach. Comes the Rama and says, uminhag. And there is a custom to give food to the poor people. But many people say, okay, so they need food, so Pesach will give tzedakah for the Pesach. But why does a poor person have to suffer for 30 days not knowing if he's going to have food for Pesach or not, and where it's going to come from? We could solve it today already. You started learning of this Pesach? Let's make sure they have what they need. Uminhag. And it's a custom. Unbelievable chiddush. What a pshat. And then, so I didn't do 30 days before. Today I launched my Pesach campaign just because I was embarrassed. Every day I wanted to do it, but I kept on being embarrassed. Like 2 weeks ago I harassed people, Purim, they bug off already. Enough, we're sick of you. Don't worry, a few people told me that today already. One person wrote it to me in those words, in capital letters too. Bug off. You know what I wrote back to them? Until you have a problem. As soon as they have a problem, Yaakov, help me, I need a doctor, I need this, I need a blessing, go pray for me, go this, that. But if it's tzedakah, we don't exist suddenly. It's not like, Shalach Shov, we have no organizations and no nothing. What are we doing? Being in a little tube that money's going to pull people through. Thousands and tens of thousands. And I gotta tell you, I'm mind-boggled every year again, and each year in a bigger way than the year before, of the chesed in Am Yisrael. I'm not only talking about those that, listen to our shiurim and come and whatever. So that's all I talk about is chesed. It's my life. Everything's chesed. So of course, it's a no-brainer. It's second nature. If they don't have chesed, they don't have a heart. It's the same thing. But we're talking about people that are very far from Torah mitzvahs. Different words. I have companies in Israel. I'm not here to advertise for companies, but some of them really deserve the credit. Osem, Tnuva, Strauss, a long list of them. They give me hundreds of thousands of shekel of product to distribute to poor people before Pesach. Not at cost. Free. No questions asked. This year I had the chutzpah to tell them I don't have where to store it. Storage cost me fortunes of money. I invoiced them for the storage. Meaning not only did they get money, they paid money to store the money that they gave. Some of these companies today are owned by Chinese goyim and all. It's true. So you can check the facts. The Asians bought out a lot of these companies. But the chesed of the Jewish managers, it's in their DNA. They go to the CEOs and they say, listen, we got to feed poor people. Of course we're going to do this. And they push for it, and the numbers get bigger and bigger, and they do it. And they don't wait for thank you letters, and people say they only do it for advertising. I don't even have an organization. There is no advertising. There's no thank you, there's no nothing, there's no zero. Just the opposite. If anything, they get messages, we need more. They get harassment. No. That's a Jew. And it's a big Kiddush Hashem. I think for that alone, the Rebbeinu Shalom should listen to our davening, and we should have Mashiach already before Pesach. I want somebody to show me another nation in the world that does this for each other, unconditionally, all the time. Not one individual. Everybody. One. To make a big deal out of one individual is nothing. Rabbi Yechiel Spiro, in one of his books, wrote a story, one of the recent books. I don't remember the name of the other individual, but it doesn't make a difference. The name, it's the idea behind it. Klal Yisrael had a very happy day a while ago when a person that we all prayed for, Abshalom Mordechai Bashkin, came out of prison after being there for no reason, because of some anti-Semite judge, Yimach Shema V'Shem Zichra. The same day that he came out of prison, thanks to a pardon from President Trump, maybe the only reason why he became president was because Hashem wanted him to be president to do this mitzvah. Another guy was also let out of prison. Many people, but one famous one. Somebody who was held because they suspected that he killed somebody. He was in prison for, I think it was either 28 or 31 years, I don't remember what it said there in the story. And it turned out, with new DNA testing, that it wasn't him at all. For no reason. They destroyed his life for no reason. When Shalom Bashkin came out of prison, there wasn't a shtibel in Klal Yisrael that people weren't dancing. There wasn't, on the streets, not only in Crown Heights, everywhere. In Lakewood, in ideology, we're the opposite extreme of Crown Heights. Every shul, every beis medrash, every yeshiva, it was yontiv. It was one big celebration. It was a real yontiv. This guy came out, he didn't even have one person that came to pick him up. All the media that made all this hype, how evil the court system is, look, an innocent man. Now, one of them cared enough to send him an Uber to get home. He took the bus. That's the difference between Klal Yisrael and other people. This is an amazing thing. This is mind-boggling. In Lakewood, there's a lady that when she heard that Obashkin actually physically got out, she told her daughter that she wants to go to the bakery. So the daughter thought she wants to go to the bakery to buy cakes or whatever, like a celebration. Everybody was celebrating, so that's what she thought. She went into the bakery. She bought one iced coffee and a small cinnamon Danish. Came out, and that was it. The daughter thought it was a little weird. Like, you went in, you didn't buy me anything. Like, what is this? So she told her an amazing thing. So in the day he went into jail, he said to himself, how could another Jew be sitting in prison for no reason and I leave my life as usual? I thought to myself, what are the two things that I enjoy most in my day? I don't mean ruchnius, materialistic nonsense. So in the morning, every morning I drink iced coffee and have a cinnamon Danish, and that starts my day with like a sweet, happy taste. And that was the last day I had a Danish. Now he came out, I'm missing my Danishes, I can go get one. For almost 8 years, a Jewish woman who never met the man, doesn't know who he is, doesn't know anything about, understood on her own what it means to be mishtatek v'tzar with another Jew. It's not pele. It's not pele. So I want to tell you something. This is what I felt, and then I didn't want to say it before I got an askama from righteous people. So I made calls to those Talmidei Chacham that I know that are up at these hours in Israel. And I got a few people telling me that you're 100% right, and one or two of them even brought me proofs to it. Pasuk teaches us, Elokim barat adam yashar. Hashem creates a person straight, meaning that he should have everything he needs and everything should be right in his life and perfect in his life. V'heima bikshu cheshbonot rabim, and a person messes it up. So we always understood, he messes it up with his sins. I want to tell you a big chiddush. Hashem forgives us. Every night again, every day again, every second again, that's why we're alive. Because Baruch was an Avraham B'chanun, the Father always forgives his kid. So it's not because of his sins. So what is it? Sometimes we feel like, God, if you got the blessing from me, so why am I not getting it? And if you don't got the blessing, you're my Father, you should want me to be blessed. So what's going on along the way? So what's going on along the way is HaKadosh Baruch Hu behaves with a person midah keneged midah. How many good ideas or good deeds did you want to do in your life that you pushed off by a year? Midah keneged midah, Hashem pushed off your good deeds by a year. But if you have a machshava tova, something good to do, you stop whatever you're doing and saying, this second I'm doing it, then Hashem says, I'm going to stop whatever I'm doing, Kavyachol, and take care of your issues this second. I'll tell you about Pella. I said something cynical before, so I feel bad. I didn't mean to be negative about Klai, so I want to tell you the positive side, not the guy who wrote Bug Wolf. Some other guy messaged me right away, called me immediately. I called him. So he told me, yeah, I'm in for my yearly. So I said, okay, so send me a check. Mail me a check. So he tells me, give me your wire information. I said, I don't know my wire information about it. He says, well, get it right now. So I told him, what do you mean? He says, in a minute, I'm not giving you nothing. Get it right now. So I said, okay, hold on a second. I started looking through my phone to find it. I couldn't find it. I had to call somebody to help me because I'm just not so knowledgeable in these areas. And I give it to him. And then, as soon as I give it to him, he says, can I give you Musa? I said, I love Musa. Give me Musa. The more the better. He said, if I give you the money today, what does that mean? And tomorrow you could already give it out. If I give you the money in a check, it's going to take till Monday for you to get it, till Tuesday for it to clear, until Wednesday you can't give it out. You're going to let another bunch of families wait until Wednesday worried? What type of Baal Chesed are you? Wild. And he said, if I didn't know it was going to Israel, I would go to the bank myself, pull out all the money in cash and bring it in cash, so it should be given around even this second. But I know it has to be moved on to Israel already, so that's why I'm doing it this way. Now let me tell you something that's going to throw you off a little bit. This guy doesn't wear a kippah. No. Doesn't have a black hat. Doesn't wear white shirts. No. And he understood what people who learned in all the yeshiva systems and schools don't understand. You're already doing a chesed, so why do it in 2 days? Why not the second? And midah keneged midah, Kadosh Baruch Hu says, you do a chesed right away, I'll do a chesed right away for you. I'm not saying mussar to anybody here, I'm saying mussar to myself, because I'm bombarded all day and I have to push people off. Hashem should give me the time and the health that nobody should need anything. That'll be the best solution. I'll like the koil, that'll be amazing. But as long as they need, I don't know, you should make some nays, so we should be able to talk on 8 lines at once or something. Chaim Oizer was able to answer 12 questions at once. So maybe one day we'll get to that. So it'll be easier to respond promptly to people. But how many times during the day? The thought crosses. Say, I'm going to call this guy, make him happy. Maybe he needs a chizuk in life, or maybe he needs a good word. You do it at the end, but 3 weeks later. You do it 2 weeks later. Say back till a month later. If we're lucky, you didn't forget. Unbelievable thing. I'll tell you an amazing story of my grandfather, just because it fits the theme. My grandfather had a guy, came to him one year, Erev Kippur. He told him that he's struggling with Parnasa, and he wants a blessing. Erev Kippur is a holy time, you should give him a blessing. My grandfather gave him a very warm blessing, and then he told him, I'm also going to give you a piece of advice. He said, go pray Kippur in this shul. Not because that shul is more special than a different shul, but because over there it's all cold guys. Cold guys don't have money. So Maftir Yonah doesn't sell for a lot of money there. And so you'll be able to buy Maftir Yonah for a couple hundred shekel probably. And Maftir Yonah will be a good school for you this year. I don't know if there's a source to that, by the way. I'm not saying go start buying Maftir Yonah, but that's what he told this specific person. That's the disclaimer here. It'll help you with panos. That's what he told him. Guy was very happy, he thanked my grandfather, very warm, went on his way. Came back Hanukkah time. He tells my grandfather, didn't work. I'm upset. He said, what didn't work? He said, you gave me a blessing, and I went up Maftir Yonah on that shul, and nothing's changing. My grandfather with his Ruach HaKodesh looked at him and said, did you pay the shul yet for the Maftir Yonah? So he said, no. He said, guess what? It doesn't work until you pay for it. And he didn't say that cynically, he said that literally, he meant what he said. By the way, there's a beautiful end to the story. The guy went to the shul himself right away, like within a few hours, to pay it off. He didn't purposely not pay it. He did like we all do, tomorrow, so he kept on pushing off tomorrow. He wanted to pay, he just didn't. Went to the shul, and his way out of the shul wasn't close to his house. It was a far shul, he just went to the shul that he could afford buying it there. So he was, instead of, Yom Kippur, you have to walk, but there's a weekday. So he was going to take a bus back to where he lives, you know. So he's waiting in a bus stop. And another Jew over there that knew him a little bit, a distant relative of his, happened to be in the same bus stop. Turned to him and said, "What are you doing here?" He said a weird story. Some rabbi told me to buy maftiya and I forgot to pay for it. He said, "Why would you go to the shul?" He told him, "I'm struggling with parnasa and that." He told him, "You're struggling with parnasa?" I didn't know. He said, "Yeah, I was laid off from my job like 6 months ago. I never got another job." He said, "I'm dying for employees. You have a job starting tomorrow morning." Give him a job on the spot. Amar Omer v'yakam lach. Tzaddik said, Hashem says, but Tzaddik says in the name of Hashem, Yakam Mukuyim right away. It happened live. He saw it clearly live. It happened instantly live. It's Rav Pele. So you got some good stuff. So people look to reach success. Success you don't have to reach. Everybody's going to be successful. Because Hashem created you in a way that you're going to be successful, period. You just have to allow the success to come. If you have $1 billion in a vault, but you don't want to find out what the combination is, you're not going to have access to it. There's a vault in Shemayim that has everything you need at all times. Unconditional. There's only one contingency. You have to have the number to the vault. And tonight I gave you the number to the vault. You think of something good to do, whether it's a mitzvah, a chesed, a ma'aseh tov, this, now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not I'll think about it, not give me a, now. And when you start living that, Hayom imikolot tishmau, Hashem says. That's the sort of tshuva, right? The Chaim has a lot of yichut on that when it comes to the Yanim or Shana Kippur. So what the Pasuk is referring to is that you should listen to Hashem's name today, to Hashem's words today. Hayom imikolot tishmau. And that's going to bring Mashiach and all the good things. The derech ha-remez is obviously not a pshat, it's only a remez, a bilsut of dichusa, however you want to take it. Hayom, you want good, you want, if you do things today, b'kolot tishma, Hashem's going to listen to your voice. I don't mean that as a literal pshat, obviously. If you do things the right way, right away, Kosh Baruch Hu listens to your voice. And to you people, I don't even have to say this to, so I'm saying it more to the listening and viewing audiences around the world. This year, I'm sticking to what I preach. By Tuesday night, I'm going to be, Be'ez Hashem, done my distributions of Kimcha de Pischa, because I feel bad that it's not being done tomorrow already, completely. But we already gave the order to do tomorrow, after seeing this. But normally we do closer. I'm not having the worry of Tamid Chachamim and that on my head. It's not, I have enough Averot without it, I don't need another one. And to all my wonderful friends and donors around the world and supporters, please don't make me mortgages and this and that and loans and then have to pay them back months later when you wake up to decide to send what you pledged. Do it and do it right away and do it in an efficient way and let's get this thing done and let's help tens of thousands. That's our mission in life. And 2 years ago we started with this idea, which I think is brilliant, and I don't take credit for it. It's an idea that a young boy, I think the boy was maybe 11 years old at the time he was, gave me. And I tried it, and it works. We don't do this in the US, we do this in Israel. How do you get somebody to do a mitzvah without telling him anything? If you tell him, so he might resent it, like, what are you telling me what to do? If you preach to him, for sure he hates you. How do you get somebody to do a mitzvah, and he's going to have the mitzvah in the best way, and on the way, maybe even sneak in a few more mitzvahs afterwards. So this is what this kid told me. He told me a story about his brother. His brother went off the derech, he wasn't religious. And his mother used to cook for him every day, 3 meals a day. He didn't live at home, he lived in a different city at all. And she would pay a crazy amount of money to drive it, to bring him food, hot meals every day. This is what he told me, and he said it out of innocence. He didn't say why, what, he didn't understand why. I went to the mother. I said, what's this? And I was assuming the mother was going to say that she listened to some of our parenting speeches and realized that the right way to go with a kid like that is not to fight him, but to bring him close. And the way you bring him close is by showing him love. And what more love could a mother show than going out of her way to send her kid who lives in a different city food 3 meals a day? The mother said, honestly, I didn't think that far. I didn't think of that. So I said, if he goes out to eat on his own, what's he going to eat? Not kosher. But if he gets home-cooked meals, it's going to be in the highest level of kashrus. And I didn't tell him to eat kosher, so I'm not fighting with him. He doesn't fight with me. Behind his back, I'm sneaking in some kosher food there. When she told me that, I said, thank you very much, I'm starting a new thing. I went to all different associates that I have in Israel that know about impoverished people in towns that are not completely secular and not affiliated with Torah and Mitzvot yet, and I stress the yet, because we already see massive changes there. And we started the first year with 6,000 food packages for Pesach, the families there. We sent them matzah, the same matzot, from the same hechsher Rav Yosef ate. Meat, the same hechsher Rav Yosef ate. The highest standard kashrut that exists. With a nice warm letter, happy Passover, a gift with love from the Haredi community of New York. And we also, by the way, stuck in a few Agadot Shel Pesach and a Tehillim and a Machzor and a Siddur. I was like, by the way. By the way, that was Derech Agav. 6,000. One of the big Kiruv guys in Israel told me a few months later, not knowing we did it, we didn't tell anybody about this. We did this quietly, a few people have volunteered, done, goodbye, as if it never happened. And we didn't deliberately look for the most poor people, because we had a different agenda here. One of these big Kiruv people who speaks in Israel, the biggest guys there, Tzaddik, does everything with Shem Shamayim, came to me one day and said, he didn't know it was me. Tell me there's somebody who did, in one day, more than all our organizations do a whole year combined. I said, what somebody? What are you talking about? He said, some guy, nobody knows who it is, sent out food packages with glad kosher food and a siddur and this and that. He describes the package with a letter from the Haredi Jews in New York. Because I go speak in these towns now and they're busy trying to find out, how do you become a Haredi Jew in New York? What does it mean to you? They did the job for us. All our speeches are just, by the way, to teach what they need to know. But there's no more arguments, no more animosity, no more hate. Everything is a smooth ride. So I know last year we more than doubled the amount, and hopefully this year, depending on what comes in, we'll be able to expand it even further. So besides our Achzokas Torah, Talmidei Chachomim, that's of course our main focus, because on them the world stands, I think right now we're running the biggest Kiruv operation that exists in Israel for sure, maybe globally as well. It's a shame Zev Wolfson's not alive anymore. I think he would have loved this one. He was, Kiruv was very big there. It's the back door in. And there's nothing that anybody appreciates more than a good meal, right? You get that man through his stomach, they say, you get anybody through their stomach. You feed somebody good, they got to respect. We don't do second class. By us, top of the top of the top. Even the cars that the things are delivered in are nice cars. The guys are dressed well and they're trained how to be polite and nobody should be embarrassed. It's thought out to the tiniest detail, all the way. It's an unbelievable thing. It's done in an amazing way. Amazing one. Hashem should help that this problem shouldn't exist anymore, along with all the other problems in Klal. And we should merit to see Mashiach Tzidkenu, B'nachat u'b'simcha b'meirav yameinu, amen v'amen, and all the blessings of the Torah should come on us immediately, amen. Amen.